Thank you all for coming today. We are here to discuss the start of the summer driving season and sharing a combined message for all of the people traveling on our roads this summer. I'm Colonel John Bolduc with the Nebraska State Patrol, and I'm joined today by Nebraska Department of Transportation Director John Selmer, Nebraska Highway Safety Administrator Bill Kvorek, Lincoln Police Department Sergeant Mike Muff, Lancaster County Chief Deputy Ben Houchin, Joe Gear from the Nebraska Safety Council, Captain Mark Dessler from Omaha Police Department, and Ben Van Horn from Bryan Health. Summer is right around the corner, or with today's heat, I think it's already here. Schools are letting out, vacations are ramping up. So as you make your summer travel plans, now is the time to plan for travel safety. The summer driving season is often called the 100 Deadliest Days because of the number of fatalities that we see on our roadways throughout the country. This year we need to reverse that trend and make the 100 days of summer as safe as possible for Nebraskans and visitors. That's why our troopers are teaming up with officers and deputies from across the country and across the state for the Click It or Ticket campaign. The stats are clear, and as all of our public safety partners will discuss, seatbelts save lives. It's a 2-second action that greatly increases the safety factor when you get behind the wheel. It could very likely save a life in a crash. Our troopers respond to crashes across the state, and unfortunately some of those involve fatalities. In many cases, a seatbelt could have made the difference between life and death. It's gut-wrenching, it's damaging for families, it hurts our communities, and it doesn't have to happen. These are all preventable. So buckle up, put your phone down, follow the speed limit, always drive sober, and travel safe this summer. It's my privilege to introduce John Selmer, Director of the Department of Transportation. John?
Thank you, Colonel. It's my pleasure to be here, and I always appreciate an opportunity to talk about transportation safety, because that's a core value within the Department of Transportation. And as has been already expressed, this is a good time because of the summer travel season and all that goes with that, and all the thoughts in our minds as we're seeking to go to a destination, and whether it's to visit friends, to get some relaxation. Sometimes we don't think about the other aspects of that travel. Last year, Nebraska was very fortunate. We were one of the few states to buck the trend and actually have a decrease in traffic fatalities, and we were recognized for that. This year, I can't say the same is true. This year, we've caught up with the rest of the nation, and we've seen an increase of fatalities already of over 30% compared to last year. And what's tragic about that is we might approach the number of 300 traffic fatalities this year if that trend does not decrease. Many of us have been in fender benders, and we can all relate to the inconvenience that's involved with that. Whether it's the financial aspects, dealing with insurance, lack of mobility, just the changes of your plan, and most of us would not like to be there. We would like it to be so that that doesn't turn into a life-changing event. And one way of doing that is utilizing your seatbelt, and also putting down your device and being fully aware of your driving. Seatbelts have been around since the 1800s, and modern seatbelt has been around since 1959. And it's been required in all vehicles in the United States since 1966. But yet we still have a significant portion within this state that does not choose to use a seatbelt. And I implore you today to use that seatbelt. We realize that Nebraskans, we're self-reliant, we're independent, we want to live life to our fullest. But I would ask you, if you want to show that, don't show it by not using that seatbelt. There's too many people dependent upon you, desiring you to be in their life, not to make that choice. And so that is my clear message today, is let's put that seatbelt on. It's an easy choice, and it can have a life-changing consequence for you, your family, and your friends. And with that, I'll turn it over to Bill Kavarik with our Highway Safety Office. Thank you.
Wearing a seatbelt in a crash will reduce your chances of dying in that crash by 45%. So buckling up is the single most effective thing you can do to protect yourself and all of your passengers in a crash. That's why we're launching this Click It or Ticket campaign all across Nebraska. State Patrol, county, city, local law enforcement officers are going to be joining us to try to keep the travelers safe on our roads, issuing citations for not wearing a seatbelt, but also for other dangerous driving behavior. Currently, only about 30% of people buckle up in fatality crashes. And Nebraska's overall seatbelt usage is only 81%, but the national rate is over 90%. So that makes Nebraska fourth from the worst in the entire United States. And I know Nebraskans don't want to be the worst at anything. So buckle up every time you get in your vehicle, and make sure all of your passengers buckle up as well. I believe there's someone counting on each and every one of us to buckle up every time we get in the vehicle so that we come back alive and safe. So I'm asking every Nebraskan to go to our website, drivesmartne.org, and send this message out to everyone that you are counting on to buckle up so they come back safe. And remember, someone is counting on you to buckle up. Next, I'll bring up Sergeant Muff with the Lincoln Police Department.
Hello, I'm Sergeant Mike Muff with the Lincoln Police Department. I'd like to first thank the Nebraska Department of thank the Nebraska Department of Transportation and Highway Safety Office for the grant for us to help put more officers on the street for this time period to help educate drivers so that we can help change their habits to help get them to wear their seatbelts. We have a lot of talking up here from different individuals, but our message is simple. Buckle up. It does save lives. Thank you.
Ben Houch in Lancaster County Sheriff's Office Chief Deputy. I know a lot of what everybody has said already on there, on what we can hear back there. Anyway, we are proud at the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office to be part of the Click It and Ticket. The one thing I will say that hits home for us at the Sheriff's Office is the last two fatal crashes that we worked where two cars were involved. The one who lived had their seatbelt on, and the one that died did not. And if that doesn't hit home, I don't know what will. So we really, at the Sheriff's Office, want everybody to have a safe summer. Please be smart. Don't drink and drive. Wear your seatbelt, and don't text and drive. And we hope everybody has a great summer, and that we don't have to go out and do that part of our job. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Captain Mark Dessler with the Omaha Police Department. Again, the Omaha Police Department is proud to sponsor or work with NOHS on the 2022 Click It or Ticket campaign. We've investigated approximately 20 fatality collisions in the city of Omaha this year. About 40% of those were unrestrained drivers. I am sure if some of those drivers were restrained, we could have avoided some of the fatalities. It takes 2 seconds to put a seatbelt on. Seatbelts definitely save lives. Just know that we will be vigilant on patrol and checking for seatbelts. We'll run extra patrols to make sure that we're getting compliance, or as much compliance with motorists as we can. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Joe Gibb with the Nebraska Safety Council. The Nebraska Safety Council and the Nebraska Department of Transportation have a partnership to provide education and training regarding seatbelt safety, distracted driving, and other road safety strategies. This message is more important, more than ever, as we approach the summer months. We also appreciate the efforts of our law enforcement partners in their continued effort to keep our Nebraska roads safe. Having worked in law enforcement for 31 years, I've seen firsthand the devastating effects a crash can have on a person as well as their family. Research tells us that wearing your seatbelt increases your chance of survival. This not only applies to the driver, but applies to all the passengers. Seatbelts are always your best defense in the event of a collision. Only 81% of Nebraskans report that they wear their seatbelt. That means 19%, or about 391,000 people, don't wear their seatbelt. We can do better than this. When it comes to your children, ensure that they are always buckled up. As a parent, if you set that example now and always have your child buckled up, 92% of them will continue to wear their seatbelt when they get their driver's license. If you don't enforce seatbelts, when they get their driver's license, 64% of them will not wear their seatbelts. So remember, from car seat to the car keys, always have your child buckled up. The Click It or Ticket campaign is an important message for us all. It doesn't matter what kind of vehicle you drive, your safest choice is always to be buckled up. I'd just like to take a few moments to talk about distracted driving. This remains a serious concern. Some refer to it as the new drunk driving. You are 23 times more likely to be involved in a crash while you're texting and driving. You're 9 times more likely to be involved in a crash while reaching for something on the floor or in the glove box or center console. Let me give you an example. An average text takes about 5 seconds to read. If you were traveling 55 miles an hour, reading that text is like traveling the entire length of a football field with your eyes closed. The latest yearly report from the Nebraska Highway Traffic Safety Administration reports that 3,142 lives were lost due to this dangerous behavior. Many of us think that we can multitask while driving, but engaging in 2 thinking tasks at the same time is just a myth. The human brain can't handle 2 thinking tasks at the same time, such as driving and talking on the phone. When we toggle between these 2 thinking tasks, it slows our reaction time down. And when we slow our reaction time down, that is what causes crashes. We encourage you to avoid the urge to answer that email or text. Consider silencing your phone before driving. Before you leave on that road trip, program your GPS or your playlist while your car is still parked. Summer can be a fun time and celebration. Avoid consuming alcohol when you drive. Always have a designated driver or rideshare option. In the United States, 28 people are killed every day in alcohol-related crashes. That is 1 person every 52 minutes. So remember, someone is waiting for you. Someone is counting on you. Make sure you and your family always arrive to your destination safe. Don't become a statistic. Take the time to buckle up and ensure that all your passengers are buckled up as well. Let's make this a summer of memories. If we all work together, we can reduce the number of traffic crashes, injuries, and deaths. This will make our roads a much safer place to be. Again, I want to thank all of our law enforcement partners for all the hard work and sacrifices you make each and every day to make our roads safe.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ben Van Horn, Injury Prevention Coordinator for Bryan Trauma Service. I'm a respiratory therapist with 13 years of experience taking care of injured patients at their bedside, working primarily in the intensive care unit and emergency room. Bryan Trauma Center, located at Bryan West Campus here in Lincoln, is an ACS verified level 2 trauma center. For more than 30 years, the Bryan Trauma Center has served Southeast Nebraska, and we currently provide care to patients from Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, and Missouri. One important function of the trauma service is to obtain information about the injured patients we care for. Using this data, we consistently find motor vehicle collision as the second leading cause for admission to the Bryan Trauma Center. This is consistent with what we see statewide as well. This data allows us to look at specific patient populations and initiate programs to target these groups to reduce injuries. During 2021, there were hundreds of patients admitted to Bryan Trauma Center for motor vehicle collisions or accidents. 35% of the total admissions for motor vehicle collisions were identified as not wearing their seatbelt. 10% of these patients experienced a rollover of the vehicle they were traveling in. 5% were ejected from the vehicle. Almost all of these patients were not wearing a seatbelt. Being ejected from a moving vehicle drastically increases the number and severity of the injuries sustained. The numbers and statistics alone do not tell the whole story. Over my 15-year career, I've seen thousands of lives changed forever by these traumatic events, and not for the better. Of the patients that survive long enough to make it to the hospital, many face a long road to recovery, often months and years. They often spend months in rehabilitation facilities, regaining strength and function lost due to the traumatic injuries. Many patients are not able to work for extended periods of time and experience extreme financial burdens. Many family members also miss work to be with their loved ones at the bedside for support. Most of the time, families are grateful that we were able to save their loved ones. But all too often, families can only be grateful we tried. The team at Bryan Trauma Center are very capable and willing of taking care of any injured patient, regardless of seatbelt usage. We appreciate the efforts of our law enforcement community in ensuring people are wearing their seatbelts and keeping our roads safe. It would take a massive strain off our emergency medical service partners and the trauma system as a whole if more Nebraskans would buckle up. Thank you.